Austin Price of Volquest.com. He joins us each week thanks to Rick Terry Jewelry Designs. Austin, good afternoon. How are you?
I'm doing great, guys. How are you doing?
Doing very well. And Tennessee, I think, is doing pretty well, right? Top 20, 6-2 on the season, heading into November in a position most probably thought would be about where the Vols are. What do you think with what you've seen now through 2 months in the position Tennessee is in heading into November?
Yeah, I mean, everybody's going to get tired of me saying this because I say it basically on every platform. I mean, Tennessee's, in a position they've only been in once since 2007, and that's, 6-2 or better heading to the month of November. And if they can win one of the next two, or as far as the Missouri-Georgia games, and take care of Vandy and UConn, they're going to win 9 games, which will only be the second time that that's happened in a regular season since Philip Fulmer was fired in 2008. The other time was last year. So, I mean, Tennessee should, feel good about where they're at. I mean, sure, you'd love to have that Florida game back. I get it. That's the one that just sticks out, right? I mean, losing to Alabama, even when you had the lead 20-7 at half, that stings, but it doesn't sting as bad as that Florida game, and just how it transpired and everything. So, I mean, if I'm a Tennessee fan, I'm really happy with the progression of the program. I'm happy with the growth of the team. I mean, Joe's starting to play his best football here at the tail end of the year, and if he can continue the way he's played, first half Bama, whole game of Kentucky, I think that this is a Tennessee team that could win at Missouri next week and at home against Georgia. You're either going to be playing the top-ranked team in the country with a chance to knock off the number 1 team, or you're going to be playing for the East, which means that Georgia's dropped one of the next two against Missouri or Ole Miss, if you can beat Missouri next week. So, I mean, I think that's a huge deal. Too many times, November has been just, kind of a month they went through and had no kind of long-term, impact. They can have a big impact this November.
You think you've seen a different Joe the last couple of weeks at quarterback for Tennessee?
Yeah, a lot more efficient. I think he's thrown the ball a lot more accurate. And, I mean, the 2 plays he made at Kentucky, he couldn't make those early in the year. Those plays where he was out moving and throwing accurately on the run, off platform, I mean, those are great throws and extended plays. I mean, that's to me is a huge difference because, I mean, all of a sudden if he starts able to move around and extend plays and, extend plays through the air and keep his eyes downfield and the receivers continue to work to get open, that's the difference between going 3 and out and, extending a drive here and there. And to me, that can be the difference in a football game, especially one that's, a coin flip type game. So I think those plays were huge last week. There at the end of the half where they went and got 3 points, and then, there in the third quarter when he was able to find Dante Thornton on an extended play. So, yeah, I think Joe's playing his best football.
Austin Price, Volquest.com. I mean, it was awesome to see Dylan Sampson do what he did in the fourth quarter, just taking over. He looked like he's playing against a middle school team. I mean, he was dominating. It was hard not to notice Jalen Wright wasn't out there after his domination early in the game. Why didn't we see Jalen Wright there in the fourth quarter? And if it's injury, kind of how do you see him progressing and maybe being available this weekend?
I think he could have played. He had a little bit of a foot deal, nothing that's major or anything like that, very, very minor. But I think they felt confident enough in Dylan Sampson, and Sampson kind of had the hot hand that they didn't feel like they had to go back to Jalen. But, Jalen's fine. Jalen will play this week, in my opinion, and, we'll be good to go for Missouri and Georgia the next couple of weeks. Again, he's sitting a little over 700 yards. He's, about 290 or so away from 1,000. He's 3 yards away from 2,000 for his career. And, we'll see how the rest of the season plays out. So, in theory, Tennessee, after one carry Saturday, more than likely, they'll have 2 2,000-yard career rushers on in the backfield, plus Dylan Sampson. So, I think something minor, nothing major, and should be good.
You don't have to come out and say that you want to play the second-team guys and the young guys. You don't need to be like Jeremy Pruitt. But it has to be a goal this week. Didn't get a chance to do that as much as you wanted to this year. Have you heard that be a point of emphasis going into this UConn game?
I mean, I think it should be a point of emphasis. If I'm Joe Milton, if I'm any of the running backs, if I'm anybody that's got some younger guys behind me, if I'm the offensive line, like I want to take care of business early. I want to get in, get up, get out, and let the young guys eat. Like, I mean, those young guys, they work every week in practice just like the older guys do. They go to the film study. They do all the stuff. Like, you want to take care of your brothers, so to speak, and make sure that they get to eat as well. And so, yeah, I mean, I think that's internally, I think it's a huge point of emphasis. Like, let's take care of business and let's let the young guys make some plays and have some fun. I mean, like, we didn't take care of business earlier in the year, and we don't want to miss up on this or miss on this opportunity to, get them out there and let them make some plays.
Austin Price, Volquest.com is with us thanks to Rick Terry Jewelry Designs. Austin, what is on the radar from a recruiting standpoint either this weekend or heading into this month, November, with about 6 weeks to go until the early signing period?
A lot of 25s and 26s will be in town this weekend. And then, like, all eyes are pointed towards the Georgia weekend because, I mean, that's, Jordan Seaton's coming to town. Kai Bates may be in town, the LSU commit. Cam Michael might be back in town. Who's down to kind of Tennessee, Colorado, and Georgia. So, I mean, like, with this Max LeBlanc or Michael Smith, the two tight ends that Tennessee's recruiting in the high school ranks, do they make it in that weekend? Most attention is on Georgia as far as the recruiting side. This weekend will just be a lot of younger guys, 25s and 26s.
Keenan Pye, when he initially got hurt early in the season, there were whispers of possible November return. Where are we with Keenan Pye and when he could be available?
Well, I think the biggest thing here is, you go back to the Cooper Mays injury, and it's a different injury, right? Mm-hmm. But Cooper was technically cleared before he came back for a week or so. But he, while he was cleared to return, he wasn't ready to play. So, like, my big thing, and the biggest thing I continue to talk with people about is that where he's at? Because everybody says, okay, he's ahead of pace on rehabilitation. Okay. But, like, once, just because he gets cleared to come back doesn't mean he can physically do things. I mean, he's not played conditioning-wise in 2 months. And they're not going to just shove him out there just because, if he's not in shape. I mean, like, they can't have a defensive liability that's out there. And again, if he's fully healthy, ready to go, it's a no-brainer. So, like, I think the biggest thing is kind of where's he at conditioning-wise, where's he at strength-wise. Again, just because he's cleared to return doesn't mean he's able to for those two other areas. So I think that's the biggest thing is, like, ahead of the pace as far as rehabilitation, which is, I think, is, caused a lot of us to think, okay, he could be back, definitely for Georgia, maybe Missouri. But then when you start talking to people and you start looking at the grand scheme of things, it's like, can he do what needs to be done to play the linebacker in the SEC? Like Cooper, will be the first to admit to you, he could have technically went out there against Florida, but he would have been ineffective, like, because he didn't have any strength. He hadn't had any core strength. Going against the 380-pound defensive tackle that Florida has was not going to help Tennessee. And so, like, I think for me, that's my biggest question is where's Keenan Pye at in terms of conditioning and strength? Because if he's not there, I just think that's a tough question.
Yeah, AP, that's a really good point, too, because you get Keenan Pye out there, and conditioning-wise, he is just not ready. Think about the offenses that Tennessee's played up against that didn't do tempo, but when they played us, did tempo. And so that could create a little bit of issue if Pye is not ready. So that's a really good point by you.
Yeah, I mean, again, we'll see how it plays out. If Pye isn't ready to go, then that brings into question does he apply for a medical red shirt? And if he does, can he win the medical red shirt? If he doesn't play the rest of the year, I think he'd have a pretty good case. But I think that's something you have to – keep in mind, when you're talking about Keenan Pye is, like where's he at physically? Where's he at conditioning wise? Just because he's technically cleared to return doesn't mean he's physically able to. And
Gotcha.
so I think that's a question that, only the medical staff and Keenan can figure out.
Austin Price, he's keeping up with what's happening with Tennessee's football team as well as Tennessee football on the recruiting trail. And he joins us every week thanks to Rick Terry Jewelry Designs, making it unique, making it special, making it just for you. They want to be your jeweler at Rick Terry Jewelry Designs. Austin, out the door at the beginning of the show, I wished Swain a Merry Christmas. He did not accept. Should he have? Has the Christmas season begun?
Oh, buddy, the Christmas trees are up at my house. Like it's go
Love
time.
it.
Like, I mean, it's go time. I mean, Mariah Carey's in full force. We got Bing Crosby. I mean, it's go time, Swain. It's go time. Like these made up rules from yesteryear, they're no more. Like, there's a transfer portal. There's NIL. Like, this isn't 1994. Like, it's time to go, baby. I mean, let's get it hopping. It's Christmas.
Get with the times, Jason Swain. Austin Price has.
Nothing wrong with planning. Got to take advantage of those Black Friday deals, other sales. But the Christmas tree is coming up after Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is going to get all the love it deserves. Then Christmas.
I'm on Team AP. Austin, we appreciate.
You can celebrate Thanksgiving with corners, man. The turkey still cooks. It tastes just as good with Christmas lights on.
Yep, doesn't hurt the dressing any to say Merry Christmas at the start of November. Austin Price, Volquest.com. That's where you can read his work. He joins us each week, again, thanks to Rick Terry Jewelry Designs. Thanks for fighting the good fight out there, Austin. We appreciate it, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Appreciate it, guys. Thank you.